Review. Cheers. It's been a long ass time since I've done a movie review. And as you know, they're not ever movie reviews. I just talk about the movie. Well, okay, that makes it sound like a review. I give the synopsis of the movie. That's it. It's been so long that I've actually gone, this is for me. Nobody watches these. It's for me. And I usually just do this to record which movies I have seen. I'm very much a data collector. It's literally, I watch the movies to collect data about the movies. Like, I don't actually care about the movies just to be like, oh, this is what this movie is about. Move on. And then I make these reviews just to record what movies I've watched. It's pretty messed up. And usually I try to review the movies and then get rid of them. But I haven't done a movie review. Haven't felt like doing a movie review. I've been busy with other stuff. I'm engaged. I'm going to get married soon. It's been long enough that I've had multiple stacks of VHS tapes and have gotten rid of them. Donated some to the local record shop and others to Goodwill or other better thrift stores. And I've ended up just taking pictures of those. Today we're going to try to go through some, very quick, I don't have much time, some that I still have here, hard copy, instead of just pictures of them, so let's get going. We got some documentaries. The Greeks, this is a PBS documentary narrated by Liam Neeson. I love documentaries, especially on tape. It's a two-parter. One of the big things about my life is, like this right here, this is a big thing about my life. There's a stack of movies, right, row of movies here, and then there's another row behind them. I think I've got like probably, I want to say around 150, if not a couple more movies or VHS tapes. And I'll be moving soon. I've been trying to churn through movies in general, but I'll be moving soon, so now I'm like really trying to churn through them. Because I don't want to have to take so many tapes. And I really have made an incredible dent. Most of these tapes were given to me. Some I have bought. Usually documentaries I buy myself because I like documentaries. So I'm trying to churn through this. I've actually made a lot of progress. Woo! Narrated by Liam Neeson. It's a two-parter, which I've been trying to get through two-part movies because they take up extra space, twice as much. I've been trying to prioritize shorter movies, but so many movies are over 2 hours. 2 hours is like, I have to really be interested. I felt like the first half of this documentary was pretty darn slow. Like, I didn't really care that much, and every guy out there loves Greco-Roman stuff. That's about to pull out some textbooks I have of Greco-Roman era stuff. The second half of this started to get pretty good. I thought that I still had more of it to watch, so I actually pulled it out today. We're going in like reverse chronological order of when I've seen stuff. But when I pulled out the tape, it was like played all the way through, like I had to rewind it. So maybe I finished watching it, maybe it was playing, maybe I fell asleep during it, I don't remember, but I do remember the second half getting much better, and like actually interesting. So, I review stuff out of 5 stars, where 3 stars is like good, fine. 3, using decimals, 3 to 4 stars is like good, I recommend. 4 to 5 is like very good. 2 to 3 is like fine, but not that great. And 1 to 2 is like don't bother or avoid. I'm going to say that this is like a 3.6. Really rough beginning, I thought, but it started to get pretty interesting. And it feels kind of stodgy like older documentaries often do, but whatever. I have 2 Persian Gulf War movies here. The first one I watched was War in the Gulf video series, Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm. Sorry, I'm not even in shot. Where's shot? I have reflection. War in the Gulf video series, Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm video ordnance. Does it have another name on the inside? Desert Shield, category number 2305. Usually when it comes to, and here I'll just introduce the other one so I don't have to zoom in. U.S. News video behind the scenes of the Allied airstrike on Iraq, Operation Desert Storm video treasures. Operation Desert Storm behind the scenes. Usually when it comes to like somewhat more obscure documentaries or tapes or like home recorded stuff, I try to see if it's uploaded anywhere online, and if it isn't, I'll upload it myself. Both of these actually were uploaded. I purchased these myself because I think I just watched Dignity Under Fire, something Under Fire, or like In the Line of Fire, whichever one stars Meg Ryan and Denzel Washington, and it takes place in Persian Gulf War. And I was like, oh, I actually don't really know much about the Persian Gulf War, so I'd like to know more. So I got these hoping that like I'd be able to learn more about the Persian Gulf War. Downside is both of these tapes came out in 1991, which is when the war was. So there's not really any room for a retrospective there. And there was no retrospective. Desert Shield, which I kind of, hopefully to a humorous degree, said like all the names on this when I was trying to figure out if these are uploaded on the internet. It was a little difficult because there are so many names, like I don't know what to call it. But this is on the internet somewhere on the Wayback Machine. This starts off with like a lot of quick facts, and it's like, oh, I cannot just like absentmindedly watch this, I have to really watch. And it mainly is just talking about the different weaponry used in the Gulf War. Yeah, so it's like talking about all the different tanks used by the American, the British, the Iraqi, Saudi, and Iranian forces, the different airplanes, and like whatever. Yeah, it says the confrontation in the Persian Gulf has pitted the largest and most battle-hardened Arab army. Is it bad to say Arab? Army against a coalition of forces led by the United States. This unique program is the next best thing to a classified Pentagon briefing on the military power of opposing sides in the Gulf crisis. Based on previously classified intelligence information, it looks at the massive arsenals of the Iraqi armed forces and the forces based in Saudi Arabia, and then it has a bunch of questions that it answers. This was very much a documentary that's like America's, better than the other people. It says some stuff that it's like, yeah, a lot of it, I maybe don't trust per se, since it came out like the same time that the war happened. The war happened in January of 1991, and this came out, I don't know what month, but it came out in 91. So it's like, you're probably not getting the historical view of it. But again, this is largely just talking about the actual firepower used. So there's a lot of like side-by-side comparison. Is it saying my battery's about to die? Give me a sec. Okay, it looks like this battery is also not super full, so. That battery was reading full when I first put it in, and I let it sit there for a while to see if it could cycle to like make sure that it has charge, but whatever. So thankful to Caster for making new batteries for Sony Handycam. We're on what, a TRV A67, 80 something, 85. TRV 85, if you care. CCD TRV 85. So the documentary, what's it, this one? Yeah, it's like, the American tanks are, it was really weird. A lot of stuff of like, the Iraqi tank weighs 15 tons, and the American tank weighs 25 tons. Therefore, the American tank is better. And I'm like, weight does not mean better necessarily. And I was just talking to a roommate earlier about like another thing it would often say is like the American tanks are so reinforced with this much armor, but I feel like every time that I've ever seen tanks depicted, which granted is probably in Hollywood so it may not be accurate, but every time I see like a tank battle depicted, it's like a tank fires on another tank and the tank that was fired on is no longer operational. So, there's probably stuff that I'm missing, but I get a vibe of like the amount of armor doesn't really matter that much, because like if you get shot at, it's kind of donezo, but there's probably more to it. But at least on the, the way that this documentary presented it, it didn't feel that convincing. I did learn some interesting stuff like about France and who they supported. France supported the Iraqi army, which from what I learned in this, there was no clear like one person is right, one person is wrong. It seemed like a weird war. Anyway, interesting enough, this documentary did make me kind of realize that tanks are really cool looking. I'm gonna give this a 2.6 out of 5. The Desert Storm one, this focused on the airstrikes in Iraq. The first like 25-30 minutes gave a history of airstrikes from World War II up to Vietnam. Took way too long in my mind. It felt like it was a time filler because there was a lot of dead space, dead air, if you will, in the actual the video. So, kind of felt like a waste of time. I lost interest. The most interesting thing about this, which I'm just going to say a 2.0 out of 5. Most interesting thing, there were a couple interviews with some people, active duty folks that were fighting in the Persian Gulf War. And one guy said pretty iconically to me that like he remembers vividly his father telling him, who his father was a vet, saying that he's fighting in wars so that his kids don't have to. Then this guy being interviewed is like, and yet I'm also fighting in a war so that my kids don't have to. So it seems like we just can't, like it's hard for us to not be fighting in a war. It's like, to me, this is the guy realizing like, yes, there will always be a war for us to fight and die in. So the answer should be, stop fighting. Don't go into war. But he's just like, so I guess I'm just going to keep on fighting until there is a time when my kids don't have to fight in a war so that the next generation doesn't have to. It's like, so long as you're supporting the fight, you're contributing to this issue that is just being perpetuated. I know there's so much more that goes into war, but like, that realization should say like, oh, then stop fighting. Like, if you're realizing now that like, we're always going to be fighting someone, that's the course of human history, like, stop fighting. Which I know, like, we get conquered or whatever. There's so many different takes to go at that with, but whatever. It felt a little silly. The English Patient, supposed to be a really, really great movie, winner of 9 Academy Awards, and Best Picture. Willem Dafoe's in this, did you know? Who we got? Juliette, I actually don't know how to say her name. Juliette Binoche, or Binoche, I don't know. Willem Dafoe, Kristen Scott Thomas, and a number of other people. This, unfortunately, is actually, I did know this, but I forgot when I started watching it. This is only part 1 of the movie, so it's only like an hour, which is just as well, because there are a couple things about this that I didn't like. One, it's in like a harder case that doesn't really well fit on my shelf. I'm trying to kill a wart. So I don't really like stuff that's in weird cases. And 2, it's a 2-hour, 40-minute movie. I ain't got that kind of time to be watching a movie. It has to be like the best movie ever. And so I didn't, without even realizing that I was only watching a one part in the first half of it, I wasn't paying that close attention. It's definitely more of a drama than anything else. And I usually like dramas a lot, but this wasn't doing anything crazy that captivated me. I was paying attention at first, but I wouldn't say that it lost me, but like, I don't know, I didn't feel the call to like really care. And I'm not going to say that it was bad necessarily, but yeah, as somebody that ironically, maybe hypocritically values my time, I was not willing to invest full attention, 2 hours, 40 minutes into what they were putting out here. It just, payoff didn't seem like it's there. I don't know if I already said this, but like, at risk of beating a dead horse, it doesn't seem like it's a bad movie. I think it probably is a good movie, but there are very few movies that are like just about 3 hours long, and I'm like, yes, I am willing to put 3 hours of my life into this. I just got a text. Is my phone in my pocket? Where's my phone? It's under there. Where is my phone? What? What? Am I tripping? What the heck? Where's my smartphone still in my backpack? It is in my backpack. I use a Nokia 2780, I think it is. Let me just pause for a second. We're back. I really like using a flip phone for so many reasons. T9 predictive text I find so much easier to use. Like, in some regard, I think like actual words per minute or something may be not as good as if I were on like a smartphone, but at the same time, the amount of errors I make when typing on a smartphone, and I just have to go back and correct it anyway, I think that I'm probably faster on T9, and I'm pretty freaking fast. Like, let me see if I can type you something. Not that you care at all. Not that anyone's watching this. I'm going to type, let's see, hey, I'm running to the store. Want anything? Question mark. Like, that's pretty darn quick. If I was typing that on an iPhone or whatever, I would make so many mistakes. I'd be so frustrated. So many other perks for using a dumb phone as well. But anyway, back to the movies. Okay. Megan Dean's senior recital. Megan Dean's senior recital. My SOs, some of her family lives in Hickory, North Carolina. I got this at a Goodwill there, I think a Goodwill. I don't know what I was expecting, because, like, you know, I was raised by professional musicians, so I know, like, senior recitals and all. I don't know why I was expecting something mediocre or short, but it was, like, an hour long, and Megan Dean doing her senior recital. I think that she knows the mistakes she made and where, like, intonation was weird. It was an interesting place acoustically to be playing in, so I lament there, but some of the higher stuff up on the neck, you know, was, like, out of pitch, but altogether, like, really great job, Megan. Because of my upbringing, because of being raised by classical musicians, I'm, like, hypercritical of myself, first and foremost. When I play, I'm extremely critical of myself. To a negative degree, fully frankly there. So I think Megan did a great job. I looked into this a little to see if, like, I'd be able to share, or into Megan Dean to see if I could share the upload with her. I think she's still around. I look so stupid. I look incredibly stupid with my hair like this. I love it. Oh, maybe this was actually at the Restore. Habitat, or not Habitat, some nonprofit restore church thing. We got a text back. Yeah, so Megan Dean actually, in I think 2011, started a LLC, I don't know, company business called Dean's Duets, where she and her sister Julie basically do, like, you can rent out their musician services. They'll play at an event for you, which it seems like their company has exploded pretty big. They've got, I don't know, like 50 musicians with them now. So cheers to them. And they have a whole repertoire of stuff that you can watch them or listen to them play and, like, stuff, past performances. Anyway, it's nice to see kind of the history here. Yeah, so cheers, Megan. I think she's still around because they had an older website. Dean Stewart had an older, like, blog, WordPressy website where there's, like, a bio for Megan and her sister. I'm sorry, I actually forget her name, Julie something. Juliet. But then they have a newer, updated website, and Megan's no longer on it, so I don't know if she went to pursue other stuff or if she's passed. If she has passed, very sorry. I realized you were able to save the baked cookies in one side bagel. Oh. Now the downside of T9 is sometimes things don't predict the way you would expect. I typed something wrong in a longer message. I meant to say cheese bagel, and I accidentally said sides bagel. It's crazy how quickly a little error on T9 can completely change the meaning. It's not just like, oh, you said, I don't know. It's not like the number, anyway, I don't care. Megan Dean's recital, great job, Megan. I give you a 4 out of 5 on your recital. This one I uploaded the recital. This one I also uploaded. It's a blank thing there, but I've got a card here. And I can zoom in a little bit on. Have that documented. I think that this is a dubbing service, perhaps. CV Dubs, it says. Like back in the day, maybe they would record programs by request. Garbage Disposal, Eyewitness News at 6, KDKA TV, Pittsburgh, February 8th, 1988, 6 p.m. This is a series of reports on New Jersey's garbage waste disposal program, as it seems like they were considering incineration as a garbage disposal method versus recycling. And the first half of the tape, which it also actually ended up being far longer than I anticipated. The first part of it was a lot of news clips and interviews and whatever, and welcome back to our program. And then towards the end there was a 20-30 minute long debate between these two guys that were one of them was pro recycling, the other was pro incinerating. One of them was one of the guys I think was a professor of environmental whatever at Stanford, and the other guy was a CEO of an incinerator company. It was a pretty heated debate. I actually was kind of in the other room shaving, so I couldn't hear the whole thing, but I uploaded it. I may one day, if I feel like hearing about a debate on waste practices from the 80s, I may go back and re-listen, but the parts I heard, it's these guys are both offering good points, good rebuttal, and it's they are getting kind of passionate and fiery about it. So it's interesting. I give it 3.6. I'm noticing maybe I didn't finish reviewing this. I don't actually remember. I'm going to say off the cuff 2.93. I didn't actually finish it, and I'm kind of happy that it stopped after an hour because I just wasn't interested. 3-hour movies, it has to be really good for me to actually want to sit through that whole thing. It can be a great movie, but it has to really be something else for me to want to spend 3 hours of my life. The ideal movie time is an hour and a half. So, that's just me. Here's another one. In the effort to get rid of tapes, I've been going through a lot of home recorded stuff to try to just upload it if I need to, and otherwise just get it out. Usually they're shorter than a movie, but not always. I have 6 hours of WrestleMania, and I've got 8 hours of Bassmasters. This is Joe's World War II story. This is uploaded on my channel. I really thought that this would be something super sweet, somebody interviewing their grandfather or something about their time in World War II. It seems like it's maybe a high school, early college age kid doing a really awkward interview with maybe public school teachers about their service, and it's not worth your time, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Joe, if you're hearing this, reading this. I think I got this in Goodwill in Waldorf, Maryland. But yeah, really bad interviewing skills. There's so many times where somebody started to talk about something and I'm let them go, and then Joe just assuming Joe is the interviewer, I don't actually know, then Joe cuts them off, and it's okay, on to the next question, and it's this, there are some stories here that could be really, really nice to hear, and this is the stuff that I'm trying to document with my grandparents, their experience. They were born in the 40s, so they didn't really live through World War II, but just in general, the life of older people as time passes. Yeah, so it's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. That's that. Okay, here's a fun one. I have to go faster. Michael. Johnny Travolta plays an angel, the angel Michael. It's really weird. I'm at a loss because I enjoyed a lot of this movie. I enjoyed Johnny Travolta, him playing an angel. It's the comedy. Johnny Travolta's angel is kind of a bum. He's always smoking and he's walking around shirtless in his opening scene. It's like it's funny, and he like is always like using spiritual powers to like make women just absolutely fall for him, and so he's like kind of a sleazeball, but also really lovable. So it's weird. He's got wings. It's great. The thing is, like, I loved the bulk of this movie, but at some point Johnny Travolta's no longer in it, and they seem to say that, like, the falling action, the resolution of the movie is with this guy who's covered up here, and who's it? Andie MacDowell. Andie MacDowell. So William Hurt and Andie MacDowell, they have a romance thing happening. What is his name? William Hurt is always kind of a dick. Like, nobody likes him. And Andie MacDowell is, like, very clearly emotionally unhealthy. Like, she's been in, like, 4 marriages, some of them lasting, like, a week. Like, she's just not ready for love. So, like, she needs to work on some stuff before, like, she can have a healthy relationship. It's just really weird. And the resolution is that they get together and supposedly, like, now they finally found the one and, like, things will be alright between them. But there is no indication at all that their relationship will work out, other than, like, Michael is the one that set them up. Like, he said that he's out here to fix a broken heart. So it just felt really weird that, like, the end of the movie makes it seem like the whole focus of the movie is actually Andy and William getting together, when it's clear that they're not good for each other, and it's not going to work out, and it's bad. So that kind of, like, ruined the end of it. The rest of the movie, when Johnny was in it, I thought it was great. I'm going to give it a 3.2. If you need something to do, watch a movie. Yeah, it's fun. This is a documentary by NASA. It's basically just a moon landing. It's pretty stodgy. Not that exciting, but it's history. 2. Mask. I've seen Son of the Mask many, many times, but Mask with Jim Carrey. Never had seen the first one. There's a lot of kind of kitschy, over-the-top comedies like this where, like, the lead is just like, Robin Williams kind of stuff. I'm thinking, like, any Robin Williams film, or, like, Eddie Murphy films, Nutty Professor. Same kind of vibe of, like, there might have even been a trailer for Nutty Professor at the beginning of this. But, like, same vibe of a lot of early CGI being used to, like, extra funny ties stuff. Really weird-ass movie, but honestly I kind of liked it, and I thought it was pretty funny. A lot of parts of it. Some parts were, like, not so, but it had, you know what it feels like? If you, I've only ever seen Deadpool versus Wolverine, because I otherwise have not been attracted to the gist of Deadpool, but the humor felt kind of like that, and just like, so when he wears the mask, it seems like he cannot die. So in the same way that, like, Deadpool is always, like, joking around with his life because he can't die, Jim Carrey, or whatever his character's name is like joking around with his life. Like, he gets shot at by some police, and there's like a 2-minute scene of him just like, as he's got, like, gunshot wounds in him that should be fatal, but he doesn't die. It's funny. It's very funny. And he, like, can control people when he's got the mask on, so he, like, makes a whole police squad start, like, dancing around in a weird... It's funny. I enjoyed it. I'm laughing just remembering it. I'm going to say 4.2. There's some decimal numbers that I go to quickly just on instinct. And that's whatever. My Giant, Billy Crystal and this guy. I want to read the back of the... No, I don't actually want to. The back of this is so confusing. I had no idea what I was getting into. I'll read it. Generally speaking, second-tier talent agent Sammy Kamen is generally speaking. He has the gift of gab, the power of persuasion. And he just discovered 7'7" of big opportunity. Comedy and goodwill reach new heights when funny man Billy Crystal and real-life basketball player George Mearson star in Crystal's best movie since City Slickers. Ambition and 10% off the top are what makes Crystal's Sammy run. He's determined to bring his gentle Shakespeare-quoting discovery from rural Romania to the USA. Sammy aims to turn his native client into the biggest thing to hit action films since, well, there's been no one this big. But is a chance to star opposite Steven Seagal what this gentle giant really wants? All his life, Sammy's hustled to do well. Now he may have to find it in himself to do good. That was really confusing to me, for many different reasons. I don't feel like going into it because I don't have the time. I reference a clock behind me, behind the camera. I mainly wanted to watch this because of a show on Cinema at the Cinema that talks about it. I actually kind of liked it. It was a sweet film, but it also felt kind of a product of its time. It's 104 minutes. It's a 1998 movie. Billy ends up lying to the giant. He has a name, George. Lying to spare his feelings, but it also, and he's like really rewarded for it. It's kind of a crapshoot. Like I feel like the message was not the right message. Like I feel like they should have been honest with George and all this different stuff. And it kind of had a feeling of like, shoot, what do I want to go for here? Not making light of the giant issue that George has. I think it's either genetic or I don't remember if it's a condition or what, but in the movie they say that people that are like giants usually don't live much past like 35, and the guy's 35, so he's like gonna die soon. And I feel like they didn't treat it in like the best way. I don't have the words to describe it right now, but it felt a little weird. Ultimately, though, I thought it was a pretty sweet movie. I just didn't like kind of the way they wrapped it up. I like Billy Crystal usually. Fine enough movie. So I'm going to say 3.4 out of 4. I have to move. I gotta move it. The Edge. The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins. I like this one a lot. For whatever reason. I had not seen a ton of Alec Baldwin before 30 Rock, so with like 30 Rock Alec Baldwin in my mind, seeing him in other stuff is riveting. Yeah, this is a fun movie. Anthony Hopkins is like super smart, like billionaire, and he's like a fashion designer or something. This guy, he's like got a lot of street smarts, but has never been able to put his smarts to the test. They end up getting stranded in like the Alaskan frontier. And is frontier right? Wilderness, and he gets to put all of his smarts to the test, and it works. Meanwhile, Alec is trying to kill him, but also keep him alive when it's convenient, but ultimately kill him. And it's a fun story. There's a bear involved. It's fun. I like it a lot. Yeah, 90s. When this is from? Like 97? Yeah, 97. 90s thrillers, action thrillers, can be pretty hit or miss for like how suspension of disbelief they are and like how over the top it is, but this one kind of did it. I liked it. Give me 1 second here. Oh, let me say 4.1. So as it has turned out, much time has passed. That happens. Oh, my back is sore. I have a large monstera plant behind the camera that I can't tell if it's thirsty or I guess it's thirsty. Yeah, I just feel like I give it water and I feel like it still is like curling in its leaves, but it's pretty big. Maybe I'll show it later. That's as far out as I can zoom. Oh, something fun I got while I was gone. At Goodwill, surprisingly, because my Goodwill usually takes all the cool, potentially more expensive stuff and posts it online for auction, so local economies and purchasers can benefit. I strongly disagree with that ethos. But this is super cool. Occasionally they mess up. Actually, they messed up, which has resulted in me getting this Handycam, which I got for like $8. Sony Handycam for $8. This model usually goes for like, I don't know, $150, $200. So great. Anyway, I got this, Panasonic V something 700, Panasonic PV 700, a Omni movie. Huh? It's my first camcorder that takes a full size VHS. I've never had one that takes a full size VHS. From 1991. I'm pretty hyped about that. Only downside is it did not come with a charger, and it uses a big lead acid battery here. Castor is usually the company I go to for all of my battery needs, and it doesn't seem like they actually have like usually they reproduce a lot of vintage batteries and chargers, and like I highly recommend them. I could not find any of these batteries from them, or likewise chargers for this. The only like replacement battery I could find for this, it's like $40 for one battery. They are a 2 amp hour battery, not 2 milliamp hour. That's 2,000 milliamp hour battery, which is good. I mean, yeah, it's cool. I think this whole thing is cool. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully using it someday, but that fact that that I don't have a charger, so I could find one person on eBay selling a new replacement battery for it. I have not yet found any replacement chargers for it. So, and it doesn't have an external DC. A lot of camcorders will have like a straight DC, so you can plug it into the wall and run it like that. I feel like I'm getting really white, like bleached out lighting. Anyway, I won't worry about it too much. Yeah, I can't find, right off the quick search, I can't find a way to actually turn this thing on, so that's a bummer. We'll get there one day. Hopefully I won't have to spend too much more. It looks like working ones of these on eBay usually sell for like minimum $100. I paid $30 for it, which I wasn't happy about because I feel like Goodwill should be like yard sale prices, but whatever. Anyway, back to the movies. Where we left off, I watched The Edge with Alec Baldwin. I also watched with Alec Baldwin The Hunt for Red October, which I feel like I'd seen at some point, but it's been a long ass time. If you don't know The Hunt for Red October, you're a weirdo. I enjoyed it. I watched it with a roommate. It was a fun time. Good movie. Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin. I give it What did I give The Edge? Whatever I gave The Edge, I'm going to say 4.1 out of 5 for The Edge. This is a much more like slower paced drama. It's good. Like, I feel like it could easily be in 4 territory, but maybe it's just like not me in my kind of movie. Like, I want to give it a 3.9, but I feel like it actually deserves more. But I'm just going to leave it at that. We got a lot of movies still. I'm going to have to go kind of fast. Circle of Friends. This was a weird one. Ireland, these friends that like were friends when they were kids, and then they grew up and they kind of all reconnected. And, well, they grew up. When they were kids, like adolescents. And then in college they reconnected, so it's not like they're that much older. She has a name. I forget what it is. Maybe it says it on the back. Nan, maybe? And Benny. Oh, she's Benny. And everyone kind of likes this handsome boy. I think Nan and the handsome, no, Benny and the handsome boy are in love. And it's like true love. It actually seems like pretty healthy, good love. So cheers to them. But then Nan tricks, how does it even happen? She like fully seduces the dude, Jake, something like that. Like really, really seduces him, which he could have said no. I don't remember if he was drunk or what, but you know, she seduces him, and they have sex. While like he and Benny are kind of in a weird place, so like I don't think they were technically seeing each other at the time. So it's like technically it's not cheating, but they were probably, like everyone knows they're going to get back together. The reason Nan seduced him though is because Nan had a lover that she thought would be like the one, and she had never had sex before, so she was like, I'm saving it for the one. And the lover convinces her that like he's the one and that they should have sex. So they do have sex, and she becomes pregnant, and he tells her to abort it, and she does not want to. So she she knows that this guy, the dude, is a good guy, a cool guy, and that if he thinks that the baby is his, he will keep the baby and raise it. So that's why Nan seduces this guy. I think I'm calling him Jake. Seduces Jake to make him think that the baby is his. And then Benny, the actual person that they were like, had good love, healthy love with, like leaves him, and it gets complicated. But then I think it works out in the end. It was a fine movie. There's so many movies that I see from really just the VHS era have like divorce or affairs and cheating as like a central theme. It's like, I know that like love, like one of the biggest heartbreaks and tragedies that you can have in love is betrayal. Like that's like, from experience, that is like some of the most emotionally moving stuff that can happen. I'm like going in and out of focus here. So I get why that like is such a common trope. Stop focusing back there. I get why that's a common trope, but it's like you change the skin 100 times for different movies, but it's all the same. And I don't even like watching movies about like affairs and all, so I want to watch movies that are like heartwarming, which I guess I need to go for a different genre, but whatever. I'm just going through the movies I have. So another movie about that. It's well done. I give it a 3 out of 5. Oops, I got them here. The Piano. This is a weird one. Sorry, I got spicy lips right now. Ate some pho that had sat in the fridge for a while with jalapeno in it, and the more it marinated, the spicier it got. I'm usually eating like some pretty spicy stuff, which this is still fine, but it made me go, whoo. The Piano, I think, like received some awards or something. Roger Ebert, one of the most enchanting, startling, original love stories ever filmed. I don't really care about Siskel and Ebert's reviews anymore. I used to think that they were cool, but I feel like they just give everything a thumbs up. Like, so whatever. Anyway, this movie, like, this lady is deaf, and she has a love affair with this guy who's a white guy that's accepted Maori, New Zealand Maori indigenous customs. I believe that's the gist. And he, like, she's not deaf. She doesn't speak. They don't give an explanation for it, just like she doesn't speak. But she loves her piano. She ends up moving somewhere. It's hard for her to take her piano with her. This guy buys it, and then says he wants piano lessons from her. Every time she goes over, he, like, starts to fondle her. She doesn't seem like she's having it, but eventually, he shows himself naked to her, and at some point she starts to fall in love with him. It's like supposedly critically acclaimed. I didn't watch all of it. I turned it off at some point. I don't know, did I rewind it? I did. It is rated R. Okay, that's good. One of the few movies I've seen, like, usually when there's like female frontal nudity, I'm like, come on guys. Okay, stick with me. When a movie does decide to show a penis, I'm like, okay, now you can show naked breasts as well. Free the nipple, whatever place you want to stand in anything. I feel like if you're showing something that culturally is considered nudity for one gender, you should be willing, if not actively, showing the other, because Hollywood is, of course, always, maybe not always, but very often, I used to go to the movie theater like every day or something, every other day basically. Very often showing breasts, and very seldom showing any degree of male nudity. Anya, great exception, they showed some penis. Anya, was that it? Enya? I don't remember. Anora, that's it. Anyway, very full penis in this, which makes, in my mind, it more okay to show female nudity. Equality. I turned this off because it just felt like a weird, like, smutty, erotic thing, and I was like, this, like, the story was really bad, and the sex wasn't good enough to make up for it. So that's a joke. But also it's true. It was just weird. It was weird. So I'm gonna say 1.9 out of 5. Renaissance Man, Danny DeVito. This is basically Dead Poet Society, except instead of it being an all-boys school, it's the military. And instead of Robin Williams, it's Danny DeVito. Now, I've ended up seeing a couple Danny DeVito and Robin Williams films as of late, which I haven't seen. Like, I grew up watching Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't think I grew up with any DeVito films, but the more Robin Williams I've seen, the less I've really cared for him. And the more Danny DeVito I've seen, the more I've loved him. Hey, Andrew. This is basically Dead Poet Society, but with Danny DeVito. And it's really good, and I really like it. Dead Poet Society was, like, fine. I give it this. Renaissance Man was like this. Very good. I can't not think that Andrew's urinating on the other side of this wall. I really like this. It was actually really sweet, really tender. Like, Danny DeVito walks very well the line between like being funny and also like seeming genuine and caring. And like I would really recommend this. I thought that he did a great job. It was super sweet. I give it like a 4.3 out of 5. I liked it. It wasn't like the funniest movie ever, but it was sweet. Flashdance. What is this? The 80s? 89. Yeah, one is DeVito. That's the date. 128 minutes. That's some good runtime. Okay, maybe I'm just not looking close enough, but I'm not seeing a date. But I'd guess like 94 to 96. 89, Flashdance. Apparently an iconic movie for, at least my roommate had said, for the Maniac scene. I didn't care for it that much. It just didn't do much for me. I think, sometimes I accidentally read like a comment or a review about a movie accidentally. Like I'll oftentimes Google a movie that's like got a R rating because if it's like, I don't know, like From Dusk Till Dawn or something, Stanley Kubrick, I watched like 10 minutes of that and was like, I don't need this in my life. Not Stanley Kubrick, sorry, Quentin Tarantino. So I'll like, if it's rated R, I'll kind of do a little vibe check. In like IMDb, the parental guide. So I think at some point I like saw a comment about this that said it's basically just a musical version of Rocky, only they're a dancer instead of a boxer. And I couldn't get that out of my head. I just also didn't find it to be a very compelling story. And the music was like not that good. Like I think it's supposed to be an iconic film. I don't remember like how it was received in general, like what its IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes rating is. Not that those are everything, but they're a good guide. But I didn't care. I'm gonna say like 2.8, and all that's really 2.8, 2.6. I'm gonna say, and all that's really carrying it is its reputation and iconicness. Oh. Double Jeopardy, Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd gets framed for her husband's murder. Spoilers, the husband didn't die. He framed her for his own murder, and he escaped with the kid. She does time for murder, gets out on parole. Somebody tells one of her fellow inmates, who used to be a lawyer or something, tells her that double jeopardy is a thing. She was tried for her husband's murder. She is certain that her husband, somehow she found out that her husband is still alive. She's certain of that. She had been on the phone, like prison time, making a phone call, talking to her son, and she heard her son yell, "Daddy," because his dad just walked in, and it's complicated. She's like, "I knew he was alive." So her inmate friend tells her she was already tried for the murder of her husband and is serving time for it. So, if he's still alive, technically, she could go up to him in the street, shoot him in the face, and have no crime committed at all, or like no further punishment, because due to double jeopardy, she cannot be tried for the same crime twice, and she already killed him. So if she actually kills him, can't be charged for it. And so that's essentially what she tries to do. It's generally like whatever movie. There is one scene that like was particularly jarring to me where the husband, she's like chasing him down. He locks her in a coffin in a crypt. Like literally buried alive type shit. And there's like a decomposing corpse in there as well. That was kind of frightening. Tommy Lee Jones, it's a fun movie, but it's also like, there are other movies I'd recommend you watch first. I'm going to give it a 3.1 out of 5. Liar, Liar, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey always lies all the time. His son wishes on his birthday, the son's birthday, that just for one day his dad wouldn't be able to tell a lie. His dad is a lawyer who's like the best lawyer because he always lies and all. And he's got like the biggest case and suddenly he can't lie. Somehow he still ends up winning this lawsuit, but he like has a change of heart about life and all, and he connects with his son. And I don't remember so much about it. I think there were like 2 parts that I was like, that's funny, and the rest I'm like, whatever. It was a fine enough movie to have running in the background. Who's the lady in this? Maura Tierney. So Jim Carrey, Maura Tierney, 1997, an hour and a half. It was fine. I'd say take it or leave it, 3 out of 5. Old school unrated. I don't know why I watched this. I knew I wouldn't like it. I really don't like Will Ferrell. Exceptions to that are, what's that one where he finds that he's the character of a book? Non-fiction, Stranger Than Fiction. Stranger Than Fiction. He does. So there are a lot of comedians out there that like they make garbage, absolute dog shit movies when they're like doing their comedy stuff. But when they actually like act in a serious movie, they're stellar. They're wonderful actors. Like Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler, incredible movie. I don't give a shit about any other movies by him. They're terrible. Disappointed Luke Wilson had to be in this, but he always plays like a nice guy, so it worked out. Vince Vaughn, I don't know if you like know Vince Vaughn by name. That guy, I didn't know him by name. Douchebag, plays douchebag roles. I hope he's a fine person in real life, because just want to punch him. He's like, man, don't get married because like then you'll only be able to sleep with one person for the rest of your life. Biggest mistake I ever made, dude. Like, fucking douchebag. And Will Ferrell like gets married and then like starts a frat or something, and it's just a piece of shit movie. I think there was, for what it's worth, like 1 or 2 times that I did laugh, but altogether it's just a garbage movie. A shame Luke Wilson had to be in it. I hope he wasn't proud of it. I don't think Will Ferrell is funny. I think he's kind of a freakish man-child. I just don't like him. I'm going to say, what is this, 1 out of 5? I'm going to give it 1.5 out of 5, because there is a floor, and that floor is $1 billion hobo. Where are we on tape? Okay. Good Morning Vietnam. I'd never seen that before somehow. Robin Williams, of course. It wasn't what I expected. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't great either. Robin Williams, I feel like people said this after he died, but he just always has a sad look in his eyes, and it's true. Like in every movie I've seen him do, it's like this guy looks really sad, and it doesn't seem like a character. It just seems like he's really sad, and kind of manic. And that is how he was in this as well. If you don't know, he's in the Vietnam War. He ends up taking being transferred from wherever he was, like Cyprus or Crete or something like that, and like the Greek front gets moved theater gets moved to the DMV, not the DMV, whatever he is, I don't know, Vietnam, and he's a disc jockey, and he takes over a otherwise very platitude show, and like immediately it's just like off the walls, Rodney Dangerfield, well, Robin Williams style comedy. He probably could have been improvising. I think he's just annoying, truth be told. Like I feel like he kind of person when I watch it I'm like, dude, get help. Which retrospectively maybe that's insensitive, but like, yeah, I don't find him funny. I don't find him like Will Ferrell, where I'm like, I dislike this person, but it's like, dude, do something else. Like you're going off the walls, and you need to take a breather. Fine movie. I don't remember like strongly disliking it. At this point, I probably saw this. This is rated R, really? Okay. I probably saw this, I don't know, like a month or two ago, so I don't remember everything. I don't remember most stuff after it's out of sight. I'm going to give it like, I don't know, 3.2 out of 5. Just mainly on account of how iconic it is. Kramer versus Kramer, who's it, Meryl Streep? Yeah, Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman. Pretty good movie. I've heard some good stuff about this. Also wanted to watch it because of On Cinema at the Cinema, because they referenced it. I thought it would be a very different movie than what it was. I thought it would be like two people named Kramer, and they're like, oh, my identity's stolen and I'm going to fight you or whatever. But no, it's a divorce case, Kramer versus Kramer. Meryl and Dustin play divorcees or whatever. Basically, Dustin's like always been searching after, or always been making his job his priority, and Meryl feels like she has no identity other than the stay-at-home mother. At some point, she like has a break and leaves the family, disappears for like 2 years, and in that time, Dustin like becomes a real father and like connects with his son. Then Meryl comes back into their life and wants the son back. And it's a well done divorce case. It's really well done, I think. And in the end, despite like, at least from the viewer's perspective, I don't know exactly what like the jury's perspective was. I did not put myself in that shoes, but from the viewer's perspective, it definitely feels like Dustin is the one that should end up with custody in this divorce battle, custody of the kid, and Meryl ends up with I think basically full custody. And then as she's going to take him, like final resolution, she realizes that she can't take the kid from his home, that this is the kid's home. And yeah, presumably things work out fairly well after that. I thought it was really good. Downside, if you do a little reading into the movie, apparently Dustin was, like, in order to like extract a great performance or whatever, he unfortunately is often very abusive to his castmates or whatever you call it. So, yeah, apparently he was quite abusive to Meryl Streep. Puts a Sully on it, but it was a great movie otherwise. Yeah, winner of 5 Academy Awards. I think it deserves it. I honestly don't remember enough about it to like, detail. I've been watching like, a movie a day, a movie every other day, so not every movie sticks super fresh. But I remember it was good. Rating just like off the cuff, maybe it was like a 4 out of 5, 3.9, 4 out of 5. It was good, if I recall correctly. Hannah and Her Sisters, another affair movie. It's got Woody Allen, Michael Caine, Albert or whatever. Batman's butler, whatever. Mia Farrow, Carrie Fisher, Barbara Hershey, Lloyd Nolan, Maureen O'Sullivan, Daniel Stern. A lot of big names. Movie about an affair. There are honestly, I felt like there are too many characters for me to keep track of at a time, and I wasn't, like with most movies, because I'm just trying to churn through them, I wasn't like super intensely watching it. But yeah, there was affair, there was intrigue, action. I didn't really care too much. didn't really do much for me at all. Woody Allen was annoying, I guess. Michael Caine was annoying. A lot of people were annoying. What am I going to give that? Vibes-based 2.5 out of 5. Throw Mama from the Train. Is this the last one? Yeah, we'll say it is. There's like 2 more documentaries. This one you can watch online, Seasons in the Sea. Slow beginning, and I think a slow ending. The middle section is really exciting, though. And I'm probably going to rewatch it on YouTube, because it gets weird, the sea. Throw Mama from the Train, movie with Danny DeVito and Billy Crystal. So we got a couple movies with DeVito, a couple with Crystal. Good time. I think that they were a fun duo. This movie wasn't the greatest. Danny plays a character that's like a mama's boy, kind of, and his mom's like abusive to him. He wants his mom dead. And Billy, his ex-wife, stole a book that Billy wrote and published it as her own, and it got like wildly famous, and she like smashes him in all interviews. So he's like, he wants his ex-wife dead, he wants his mom dead. He's teaching a class on writing, he's a student, and he misunderstands. Oh, I think I get a message on the bet to lose something. Nope, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, he gets mixed messages from Billy. Danny thinks that Billy is saying to him that if Danny kills Billy's ex-wife, then Billy will kill Danny's mom. That's not what Billy was saying. Danny DeVito is supposed to be kind of a dunce in this movie. So Danny kills his ex-wife, or at least thinks he did. Turns out he didn't. But shenanigans ensue. It's a wild movie, not like a great movie. I say it's like a 2.8 out of 5. Anyway, that wraps it up. See you. Where's my off? Blue.